Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard 100, a video series documenting the colon of my collection from what it is to what it's going to be. Hard 100 games. It's hard for me to enjoy things that I am terrible at. I am not good at, let's say, Madden. I'm not good at a lot of fighting games, but I enjoy those, oddly enough. But it's really hard to like something that I suck at. Recently, I played a game that it is probably the game I am the absolute worst at. Take a look at me here. Look over here. Look at all this shit. See all these games? I'm decent at a lot of them. But there's one game, ladies and gentlemen, that I absolutely suck at. And I fucking love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tiny Towns. Tiny Towns by Peter McPherson is a game in which you or a handful of players are playing a roll and write game without the rolling or writing. What this has you doing is on your turn, you're going to either call out a color and you're going to take a little cube and you're going to put it on your tiny town. Because at the top of the play area, there are a number of buildings. Each building corresponds with a pattern, and once you have built that pattern on your tiny town, you get to put a beautiful building on top of that town, and it'll do various things. And at the end of the game, the combination of them will produce a score for you. There's also a version of the game that has a stack of cards that you flip, and that's the one that's called out, or a version where you get rid of 5 cards and then you'll shuffle and just, instead of calling it out, that's the way that it works. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the game. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just kidding. But that's basically all there is to it. There's a lot of variety in here because every type of building other than one has different versions of it, so you're always playing with a different configuration. It recommends starting with a specific set, and I recommend you listen to them. Normally when they're like, oh, it's your first game, don't play this on your first game, fuck off, I'm a grown-up gamer, I can play what I want. But no, it really teaches you how to play the game that way, and it's very important for you to learn that. And I would say, do it that way until you have broken a certain score, because adding the new things and changing the concept and everything will mess you up. Also, everyone has their special little monument building that they can build, which is a super secret. And these do other things like various scoring, gives you powers. Like one of them, for example, gives you the ability to build a building anywhere whenever you meet the pattern. Because on this one, you can only build a building on the pattern. You can pick any of the squares. So if one of them is like, oh, these 4 squares, you can build that building on any 4 after you're done. There's also the master builder. The master builder will call out the color, and there's, oh God. This game, as I mentioned, is a roll and write game without the roll and write. This does feel like a roll and write game where you will try to fill in this little puzzle as best you can to sort things out. But the way that it does it is with a lot of wood and a lot of beautiful buildings. And it's a great fucking game. And I am terrible at it. My score has ranged from -4 to 7. The way it works is you will score points based on the type of buildings that you have built, and the game will end after you can't place anything and can't build anything, at which point you will remove all of the resources, which are the standard cubes, from the board, and you count up your total, and then you lose 1 point for every empty square. And I suck at this. So much so that I had to go on the bug and ask specifically for some help on how to do it, because I don't want to be so bad at it that I don't want to play it. And they said, hey, work outwards in, do the big buildings first, try to get the corners, and they gave a lot of really good help. Some people do the overlapping, some people straight up don't. Some people only focus on one thing, get that built, and then move it. And I greatly enjoy it. Let's do some housekeeping. So I only have to go to the back of the box. 45 minutes. I've only played this by myself, and it's never gone 45 minutes, but I can see as you're trying to figure it out, the puzzle, trying to get it up, and everyone's like, oh, what do I do? 1 to 6 players. I've just played it with me. I don't think I'd want to play it with 6 because it's a lot of chaos around the table and everyone gets to call a different piece. I would probably say I'll try 2 or 3. But if it's good solo, I don't want to go to the point where it's going to push me for 45 minutes. It's not a 45-minute game. This is a 30-minute game tops. Setup is like nothing. Awesome. And then 14 plus, don't swallow the cubes, people. Do not swallow the cubes! Also, the theme here, let's talk real quick. So, Tiny Towns, great game. Fuck it. In the Hard 100. I really like it. I want to play it until I'm good at it. I'm interested to see them expand it with extra buildings and, of course, etc. There's a lot of room in the box for expansions. The theme of a tiny town, I didn't know there were animals on this box until I looked in the rule book and they were like, oh, animals and stuff. And I was like, what? Oh, I'm the mayor of a tiny forest with creatures. You don't even notice this. This is one of those games where you're just like blinders. This is a puzzle. This is not a thematic experience. It is a puzzle that you're trying to figure out, and then when you can't figure it out, it's so easy to wipe the board and start again. It is like nothing in between plays. So if you play it, I played it solo and I've played it maybe a dozen times now and I'm still terrible at it. When I'm done, if you keep the same buildings, it's as easy as going whoop, reshuffle a deck of cards and then go again. And you just go and go and go and you're looking at this board and you're trying to figure out how to win. Other people have said how great this game is. I have said how great this game is. I recommend you go in to find a copy to pick it up if you are into roll and write games, if you are into solving puzzles, and if you like cubes. Let me show you what the inside of this box looks like. Here's your score pad. I've never used it because I didn't have to, but specifically, oh, look at all of this. I guess that's why it's 12 and up. Don't swallow the cubes. So it's all here. It's just this big, chunky, beautiful thing, and they all go on the board, and it's lovely. Look at all this room for stuff. Look at all this room for the stuff they can give me. Also a hammer. As a theme, it's whatever. No one fucking cares. It could be about moving prisoners around a prison and making sure they don't stab each other. It could really be anything. I'm glad it's not, but I kind of now want to see that. I want to see a little rodent prison where you're trying to move guards around and trying to make prisoners happy with whatever. Tiny Towns. Very good. I've already made the Tiny Toons joke before. I'm not going to make it again. I recommend you play this game because it's fun, it's quick, it's easy, it's readily available, it's in your friendly local game store, it's everywhere now. It is a little bit of a big box, but I don't fucking care. Look at these boxes. I don't care. I don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, go pick yourself up a copy of Tiny Towns. It's worth your time. It is perfect for my shelf. It's perfect for yours. As I mentioned, I like the roll and writes if you want to play with people or if you want to play with yourself. Thank you. Thank you, thank you for joining me on this, the latest edition of the Hard 100. This is going to go on my shelf, probably up here, right above Gents. That doesn't look like it's going to stay. 1 second. There we go. Gents will weigh it down. I'm probably going to pull it off the shelf and play it today. Thank you so much for joining me on this latest edition of the Hard 100. I hope you and yours are well. Peace out.